Today on the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, Maximum Effort, we've got to talk about Deadpool and the Wolverine. It is time, it's here, let's go! Right after this.
Welcome to the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. My name is Matthew Carroll.
And I'm Jeff Randall.
And I'm Ashley Coffin.
I'm going to call myself Jeff Pool.
Please, suck it,
right.
Fox. We're going to Disneyland.
That was really good. We normally do a little spoiler-free section up top. We should probably throw that out there.
Sure.
We're going to try.
Yeah, well, let's just... it doesn't have to be long, but in case people are checking in with this episode to see what we thought without wanting to know how the spoilers, what did you guys think?
Go ahead.
It was really fun. It was really fun, and not as consequential to the grand MCU scope as I was hoping it might be, but it was still a great time, and they were allowed to make a ton of references to the things that we know and love, and basically, it's like having a friend beside you that likes to just kind of like rib the MCU, but still loves it, you know?
Yeah, clearly a lot of love, but like, yeah, they took a piss out of a lot of things, and I would say really, really fun, wonderful, like reference party, hilarious moments. I was just like rolling in the floor throughout, and there's some really emotional moments that I got choked up at. It was really, really great. I didn't think as a story it hung together as well as the other two Deadpools.
Sure.
I think it was a little more of what we had sort of feared, which is just like a cameo fest / like reference fest, and literally scene after scene just felt sort of stitched together. like okay, this is a scene we need in this movie, and then we'll put a little thing that leads us to the next scene we need in a Deadpool and Wolverine movie. I still had a great time, but that was my one like criticism of the movie, I guess.
I wasn't surprised by that because when people were like, "Oh, our kids won't be able to see this movie that might mean something to the MCU," I'm like, Marvel knows what they're doing, and they're never going to put all of that information in a movie that's going to alienate a huge part of people who need to watch it to move forward with the story. So I wasn't surprised about that. And let me tell you something. If you ask me right now, who my top 5 Marvel movies are, I can confidently tell you all of them with a stipulation that it's not in order. Like, it changes by how I'm feeling.
Right, the order changes.
And it's Winter Soldier, Infinity War, Mom, Deadpool 3, and Guardians. I feel very confident in my life right now. This was everything I ever wanted. I'm getting a little older, and I feel like this was such a swan song to my generation.
Mm-hmm.
The music, like a Prayer is in my top 10 favorite songs of all time. And I cried twice during this movie. Probably not for emotional parts, which we'll get to when we get to the spoiler parts. But I actually, in the theater, cried twice.
Wow.
Couldn't stop them. They just, I was
that's
like,
gross for you.
Don't look at me. Yeah, it's not for emotional parts. So when we get there. I'm very happy. And Ryan, you know what? I have been a down talker to Ryan Reynolds. Like, he's not my favorite.
Sure.
He's not. He's just not. Kudos. You did a great job. You and your writers, the writing in this movie was top 10 best Marvel movies. Like, it was so good. The jokes were so good. The meta, like, go ahead, Marvel. Bring us in when you're in. We're all dying here. The jokes, I just couldn't. I loved it.
The meta-ness of it was, I think, like, that was the biggest part of the fun of it all, was, like, there were so many instances of, like, this could be one thing, but I don't want to commit to loving this because it's probably going to be ripped away from me and substituted with something very silly. And, like, it was often, but also, I still loved the thing that was very silly that it was replaced with.
What I was impressed with, it is a Deadpool and Wolverine movie, and there's obviously everything Deadpool touches is silly, but there were a few moments where they let Wolverine like get really serious.
Yeah.
And there's those were some moments that made me cry, and Hugh Jackman brought it like full acting to bear on this role in this like silly movie. And like it made those moments really stand out and really have a lot of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine DNA in them. He was very self-serious. He always is. And Deadpool kind of like makes fun of him for that. And he's like making his self-seriousness seem silly. But then there's moments where he like really unloads about his trauma and stuff. And you're like, oh man, this character's real. It feels like a real character encountering this insane, silly character.
And you can feel like what the look is on Wade's face under the mask when he unloads like that. You're like, he's hurt. He's hurting. He like, were you talking about your life or were you talking about his life, sir?
Yeah. There's a lot of connections there, and we'll get more into that with the spoilers. I don't want to drift into spoilers, but so I think it had strengths and weaknesses. I do, but I think it's great. For what they were trying to do is just killer. Anybody else have anything to say before we get into spoilers?
Oh, Marvel H. Christ. If you go into it expecting a hugely important story and don't like a lot of really, really bloody fights, you're gonna be disappointed.
It was incredibly
made to the nether realms. It was bad.
Yeah, there's a
but
few
I loved
scenes
the opening. I was like, oh, we're really playing this whole song.
We're going the entire way.
The opening was probably my favorite part of the movie.
He did the dance.
We'll dive into why. But yeah, like it's amazing, it's meta, it's silly, it's crazy, it is so irreverent and fun, and like the opening of the movie like made me lose it in a way that the rest of the movie didn't. Like I was completely gone that first scene. Like I literally it's been a stressful year, and that like moment was like I have not been outside myself laughing like that in a long time. Like it really got me, that first scene.
Yeah, like oh, I needed that.
Oh yeah. So get in there, go see it if you haven't. I think it's definitely, if you're listening to this show, you're a fan of Marvel, you've probably already seen it, but if you haven't, it's definitely worth seeing, I think.
Yeah.
Let's get into spoilers. You want to do a classic 3, 2, 1, Jeff?
Sure.
3. So I'm going to yell 3, 2, 1. Jeff's going to yell a spoiler for those of you new to the podcast. 3, 2, 1.
Wesley Snipes as Blade was there?
Right?
What did I say? This movie was made for me. I lost my shit. I lost my shit so many times over. We got freaking Chris Evans?
Yes.
And so that's the
exactly
first time
like you said, Matt.
That's the first time I cried.
Oh, was it?
Oh yeah.
It was. Because when he was like, Cap, and I was like, oh my God, I missed you so much in a Marvel movie. I've been talking about it for 3 years, and there you are. And I just couldn't believe it. I might have had an espresso martini or two before this, but
How'd you feel when you realized who he was?
Even better.
Even better?
How dare they? He wore the red, white, and blue sash, and we were getting there. But I was like, his hair is a little dark, you know?
Yeah.
He looked a little different.
Oh my God, I laughed so hard. And immediately when he was just like, flame on, I was like, Matt was right.
Yeah.
And I knew it as soon as he cursed, because that's not Cap. Like for just a second, it set me off my feet. I was like, wait, Cap's cursing just because it's a Deadpool movie? No. And then I was like, that's not Cap. That's not Cap.
That's not Cap
the
at
New York
all.
accent.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Oh, the accent was so good. And then the post credits was a pretty amazing thing for Chris Evans to do. Oh Lord.
Yep.
So good.
He definitely had a burn book.
How about Channing friggin' Tatum as Gambit?
Channing Taters is whatever.
I don't know.
We were promised for so long
I don't know.
that he was going to be Gambit in a Gambit movie, and it never happened. And
I'm really glad it didn't. I'm sorry.
They went so meta about it. He's like, I feel like I was born here.
He reminds me of, did you ever see This Is the End with
yeah.
James, like he knows how to play a funny role, and I appreciate him that
for sure
for so much. But like seeing him as Gambit, I went, no, this is fun. You're having your multiverse of madness moment, and you can totally do this. But no, I'm so glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, this is probably not the Gambit we want.
But seeing him use the powers was freaking awesome.
Oh my god, it was so cool.
It probably would have been better if he were younger. I think he maybe could have pulled it off, but at his age now and everything, it didn't really fit. And
if he was like Magic Mike age, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah,
what happened to the guy from Wolverine who did play him? He was a good actor for a minute, and
Taylor
he did one
Kitsch.
movie. Yeah,
right.
And then he did like John something from the future, and then
John Carter of Mars.
Yeah, that movie bombed harder
Carter
than
of Mars.
It was like Battlefield Earth or something. It bombed harder than whatever, and you never saw him again.
Well, they changed the name of it to just John Carter. The book is John Carter of Mars.
You're like, who?
You're like, what do I want to go see John Carter for?
But he was like a 10-second okay Gambit. Oh God,
he was an okay Gambit. Like that, he wasn't the problem with that Gambit, or at least he wasn't the problem.
No, that whole movie was a problem.
With that Gambit, that whole movie was a problem.
But think about it. If we didn't have that movie where Ryan Reynolds was cast as Deadpool in that, we never would have this. So everybody stopped shitting on the Wolverine.
That was X-Men Origins.
X-Men Origins. Everybody stopped shitting. I don't even remember his name because who cares? Don't shit on that movie, any movie. Because we wouldn't have this.
Listen, shit on it all you want. Ryan Reynolds shits on it himself. But like, it is fine. You shit on it all day, but it's
Ashley, you're killing me.
It is a building block that led us here, and this is a wonderful place that we're at.
It's a building block that we know got us here, but everybody involved, including Ryan, is just like, no, that was bad.
Yeah, why did we do that?
Oh, man.
Does anybody remember the name of the TVA agent who literally spoke for me and my people? Who is the one that was like just oogled by Deadpool? And then when Wolverine came in, just the guy sitting there who pretended to call his wife. Like, I was like, I've never seen myself on screen, but there you are. Like, as a thirsty Marvel character, I go, we're being seen right now. Yep. And it is this guy, and I love everything he's doing.
He was like,
so seen.
He's like, are you calling your wife? HR. Does your wife work in HR?
It's too many jokes.
There are too many jokes, and there's so much laughter in the theater. Like, I know there's a lot I missed.
Oh no, we got to see it again.
Yeah, we're just doing our instant reaction today. I'm sure we'll see it again, and I'm sure we will also get a lot of feedback about this movie, and we'll be covering this movie for the next few weeks. Lots of things to talk about, I'm sure. Yep. Y'all mentioned Wesley Snipes. I think he played Blade wonderfully. And like, of course, and they really took... I liked how they were able to do something that the MCU has done well up till now, which is take the different tones, put them in one room together, and they're all still acting as themselves. As I mentioned it with Wolverine, still being able to be the self-serious guy he is, brooding in the face of this silly Deadpool, but also Blade was a badass, even though like you've got over-the-top Gambit next to him, I think, who was like, the joke was that his like voice was over the top. I mean, Deadpool points it out over, who's your dialect coach?
Oh God,
who's your dialect coach? So good.
So he's like over the top, silly. And then you've got Elektra, which is like just a weird pull.
It was a weird pull.
It's so weird.
But Elektra's one of my favorite characters, so I'll take her any way I can get her.
Sure.
Yeah. And my favorite line was when she said that, talking of Ben Affleck's Daredevil, they had been divorced and
Daredevil
everything, I believe. Daredevil died.
Like, I'm so sorry. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh,
it's
okay. Really fine.
It's fine. But all those characters really seem to live in their own worlds and have their own experiences. Well, they all had their own experiences except for Gambit, who apparently had no experiences before the Void.
I feel like I was born here.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I'm about to make a name for myself.
It's perfect for you here, Swamp Rat. You'll fit in great.
It was wonderful seeing them all line up at the end and be like, we're going to get the endings we deserve, and it was wonderful. Seeing, X-23 fight
Laura.
Again. Laura,
that girl
so
needs
good.
to continuously be her.
Yeah.
Keep her. I feel terrible. I can't remember her name. She's so
Daphne
good.
Keane?
Daphne Keane, that's it.
Yeah.
So good. She was just great in The Acolyte, but she is X-23.
Tic-tac-toe Daphne.
Tic-tac-toe Daphne. How dare you?
That's right. I forgot she was an acolyte. She was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
what a great scene. And seeing all those classic villains from the old movies and stuff just get taken out in bloody, terrible ways.
Yep.
It was
one
great.
by one.
Oh, you're the new Juggernaut.
Juggernaut's the way they took Juggernaut out. Oh, Lord.
Oh, when she like got his feet and he just like fell
Achilles
off of
tendon
him.
and just sliced them.
That's ugh.
Yeah, it wasn't just the tendons, like the whole foot.
Yeah, the whole foot just took it out.
Just like,
Lord. That was dark. I didn't like it.
It can't be unstoppable if you don't have feet.
Yeah.
So I didn't get my Michael Fassbender, but I do appreciate the deference that everybody paid to Magneto, reminding them that if he was alive in there wouldn't be a problem because he'd be able to solve it. So as long as everybody remembers that Magneto's the most powerful mutant and it's the best power ever, I'm fine.
Yep.
And I felt like they did that for me.
Who's the fourth one? Please tell me it's Magneto. Please. Nope. She killed him. At least his helmet? Nope. She melted that down. She knew it was bad. Damn it.
That's great.
Can't have anything nice.
And I really liked how they were able to talk her down. Like it was sappy BS in a way, but like I did like it. I don't know, just it's the classic
brother
like
would have loved you.
Yeah, your brother loved me. He would have loved you. He loved us all.
He would have torn a hole in reality.
That was
he would have torn a hole in the universe to bring you home. And I'm like, Charles would have too. He would absolutely do that.
He would have sacrificed everyone he knows and all his closest friends to bring you back because he's absolutely reckless.
Yep.
Oops.
Because despite you thinking that Charles is like Marvel Jesus, he's a monster.
He's
we all contain multitudes, you know?
Yep.
But yeah, I really liked the whole thing. I liked all those characters coming back, and I keep trying to say, but Wesley Snipes as Blade was just badass. Just like he's all this silliness going on around him, but like somehow none of it got on him. You know what I mean? Like he made a couple great jokes.
Some motherfucker's always trying to ice skate uphill.
I
was like, he said it. He said the thing.
He said,
"No, you guys are 12. Oh, okay, cool. You don't know what this is. Shit."
Well, I just thought he was great, and he really did like
nail the tone
for that character. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I was like, yeah. Was that a meta shot at the movie that can't get off the ground? I wonder.
He's like, I can still do it.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
When he said that, I was like, "Are they? That's not. They can't be serious."
That's how they announced the cancellation of that movie.
Yeah, right. That's how they announced it. Is in the Deadpool movie.
It's just me, baby.
Oof,
which I'm fine with, even though I think Mahershala Ali is going to be an amazing Blade if it ever gets off the floor. But
for sure,
I'm also okay with that being legacy.
Oh my god, the boomerang blade.
Oh, he did it! He did
the thing. He did the thing, and it was so freaking cool.
They all did the things.
They all did their special things.
And I think it was him that killed Toad in that really gruesome way, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like he stabs Toad. Like
and they cut off Sabretooth's head.
The idea that we got that X-Men version of Toad fighting Wesley Snipes' Blade is so insane to me. That's like the kind of thing that you would get like, an internet YouTuber would make like a short of like, hey, this is what it would look like if these two characters from these Marvel movies get to battle, and they just did it all on screen.
This whole movie was basically just fan fiction.
Yeah, also, and not to make fun of the Mad Max and Furiosa stuff, because Deadpool did that for me when they had all of the stuff, and he was like, "I've killed your queen. Her name is Furiosa." We were crying because we just watched that movie. And then all the Thor stuff, I'm like, I wake up like that every day too. Thor, I know why. Oh no, no, it's just reality.
Yeah.
Why was he crying?
Speaking of the Thor stuff, why was Thor crying? Yeah, like
they were in love. And which Hemsworth brother was that?
That looked like that was the Thor from the play.
Okay, the older brother.
Whichever one that is.
But like that makes me wonder if that's still the future. Like that didn't happen. And I kept thinking it was going to happen in this movie, a version we were going to meet a version of Thor, but it didn't. So does that mean that that's like part of this Deadpool's future? Is that Thor will cry over him, or a version of Thor will cry over him?
It's the only way to die.
It happens somewhere in the multiverse.
Somewhere in the multiverse. Okay.
Oh.
Somewhen.
What'd y'all think? What'd y'all think of how they use the TVA?
My Mr. Darcy was so goddamn charming. Paradox or whatever you want to call him. He's Mr. Darcy, and I'm sorry, that's what I'm going to call him. I love him so much. He was, because I didn't know if he was going to be very serious, because he's kind of like got that serious voice. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll sit down and shut up if you tell me to in that voice. But he was fun. He was great.
He was fun.
And I wasn't sure whether, like, I was like, are you a good guy or you're a bad guy? I liked that it was up in the air throughout the movie.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that it like had, we talked about it on last week's episode of what we wanted from this movie. And like, I really liked the idea that it's a continuation of the Loki series, and like Deadpool even says, "Oh, like Loki season 1, episode 5."
Yeah, I saw. I got my Goliath.
Void.
Goliath.
Yep.
I said it right. It's not a whatever I was saying for all that other time.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
What,
what did I call it? It wasn't
Samsonite.
Goliath. The people remember, right? And remind me what stupid word I said. But it totally wasn't Goliath.
Yeah.
It was a monolith. I was like, look at that monolith.
Oh, that's right. You kept calling it monolith. And I was confused because, like, you didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. What are you talking about?
Exactly. And I was like, what do you mean?
Yep.
One of my favorite parts was the Loki reference when he jumped down and tried to yell at the Hulk. He was like, I am the Marvel Jesus,
Marvel
and you will
Jesus,
not
you
disrespect me.
Oh.
Hysterical.
The classic
my
brown
cheeks
suit.
still hurt. Oh,
yeah. The classic brown suit.
all
You
the
fought the Hulk in that.
Man,
And
all
then
those
there's the
suits,
Hulk.
all those moments from comics, so cool. Those are like
the patch eye.
Yeah.
Unmatchable.
Oh my god.
The
one-handed Wolverine?
One-handed Wolverine. Like, I remember that so vividly from my childhood.
Yep.
Like, it's so cool. Oh.
Yep.
And I love Deadpool putting on Wolverine's claws and not knowing how to use them. He's like, it's really hard to do this.
Wolverine is really hard. He had the one guy in the butt and the other guy in the dick.
And the guy comes in and he's like, you sicko. Like, what are you doing? Wolverining is hard. So funny, man.
Oh my god, and the song. And he did the choreo from the music video.
He really danced it and shook his little ass everywhere.
Oh yeah. That's the scene. That like is my favorite scene from this movie, I think.
The beginning.
And it is just the beginning. It is just so funny. The whole like we talked about how great the meta stuff in this movie is, but him being like, how are we going to handle bringing back Wolverine without
without dishonoring his memory,
dishonoring and
or his sacrifice,
dishonoring his sacrifice. Sacrilegiously messing up that moment that was so important to us. And he's like, "We're not going to. We're not." And then he proceeds to with the adamantium bones of Logan from Logan. He murders all those guys in terrible fashion. It was so perfect.
So great.
It was so perfect.
But it also, that confirmed, though, that Wolverine, the Logan that died, was from Deadpool's universe.
Yes.
At least that line confirmed it throughout. Yeah, that's really interesting to me.
Yeah.
That, like, the
Fox
Deadpool universe is the Logan universe.
Yeah, that would be the X-Men universe.
Well, no, I don't think. That's what the thing.
But he knew, he saw the X-Men when he went to the, in Deadpool 2, when he was visiting Colossus, all of the X-Men were in the one room and they're like, shut the door.
Well, it's confusing because that's the First Class universe, which seems to be a slight different, like after Days of Future Past, it's slightly different.
Well, they changed everything and went back, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
It gets foggy with Fox.
It gets real
blurry, but we do know now that at least in continuity, the Deadpool universe and the Wolverine universe, or the Logan universe, are the same. But not the one that they pull this Wolverine out of. He's from some other universe.
Yeah. Did they tell us how he ruined his universe? I was like waiting to hear what the big thing he did was, but did we ever?
It sounded like he went killing. Like
he killed all the
went
X-Men, but I was like,
avenging-
why?
He went Ronin, basically.
Yeah, he went Ronin. He went avenging the X-Men who were.
He was the
who were
only
murdered by
X-Man
people.
left, and he gave them a bad name by going around killing and murdering. And they
Killing
said,
people,
he
okay.
said, you killed all those bad guys. And he's like, not just the bad ones.
Not just the bad
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the
So I
women and children too.
I was like, yeah,
They're
whatever.
animals. And I
We all-
slaughtered them like animals. Oh no, wait.
Lord,
That's a different
Jeff,
movie.
Lord.
So Chinese crescents, the cutest little dogs ever. I'm glad that
Oh
those
my
got so much
gosh.
screen time.
My goodness.
Are they all?
What did he say?
Do
She's
they all
like-
look like that? With
Yes.
tongue
90%
Oh,
G
yeah, yeah.
spot.
Yeah, she's
She's like 90% G spot, and she will let you know it.
so good.
We had Sugar Bear, we had Yukio, and Megalodon Teenage Warhead. That's a shark.
Negasonic.
Yeah, there you go.
And Shatterstar.
Yeah.
Shatterstar was there.
Who'd you guys think the other Deadpools were when you were watching it? Lady
Oh,
Deadpool and
God.
Cowboy Deadpool that had voices.
Like who was?
The actors.
I-
I looked it up
That was
after.
the second time I cried, so I wasn't paying a lot of attention to who I thought who they
Oh,
were.
yeah.
I was just
Only a few
really
of them
like,
had
I can't believe
lines.
I'm seeing this on screen.
I
Yeah, it
still
was so
think
good.
Taylor Swift was Lady Deadpool.
You do?
It was not, but I thought so too.
Ooh.
It sounded a lot like her. It turns out it was Blake Lively.
That's what
Oh,
I
of
figured because
course.
she looked very similar in her outfit at his premiere.
Oh, nice.
See, fashion.
See, fashion reveals all.
But she was not in the suit. She was just the voice.
I redact my last statement.
And then apparently Kidpool was their kid.
Oh, Nepo.
I forget what
funny.
Kidpool says, but it was like crass and funny, so that was great.
That's
then-
Kid Pool. He's the dirtiest one.
And apparently Baby Pool was their baby.
Yeah.
Like the
Lot of
coo
free
noises come
actors.
from Baby Pool. Yeah.
Saving money by putting your kids to work. I like it.
I mean,
Yeah.
it lets them put a lot of budget toward like Chris Evans for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I love that he made that joke. He's killing our budget.
You see what
Your
he's doing to
budget
the
anyway.
budget?
They did I did notice this, and it says I'm right on the internet, but I'm not 100%. Who knows? Cowboy Pool was apparently Matthew McConaughey.
Oh,
Oh, that makes a lot of
that
sense.
sounds all right.
Yeah, as soon as I heard him, I was like, that's Matthew McConaughey or someone doing a Matthew McConaughey, and it was Matthew
I was
McConaughey.
too busy crying.
I would
That's so
not
great.
put it past Marvel to be like, Ross Marquand, how about you do a bunch of different voices of celebrities
Mm-hmm.
and
For sure.
we'll just stick that into the Deadpool bin.
But now I really want a Matthew McConaughey Cowboy Pool movie. Like,
Right?
that sounds
Just
great.
a runoff.
Yeah, just give
Like,
me a
even
one-off
if you
of
give
that.
me a short.
Give me a Deadpool anthology series where it's like maybe 1 or 2 episodes about, or like one or 2 episodes per Deadpool, just like in their universe, they do a thing, we move on. Like,
Mhm.
just, I want all of those different pools. I want to know where they came from.
Well, did you like Namaste Pool or whatever that was?
That was so funny.
He was so funny.
It was the, what, nice pool?
Nice pool.
And
Yes.
and he didn't regenerate. Regenerate. How long does it take you to regenerate? Regenerate.
I just love the moral, like, terribleness of Deadpool and the reaction the X-Men have to him. Like, it goes back to Colossus in the first and second movie, but, like, Wolverine being like, no! He didn't sacrifice himself. He was murdered.
He died for murder, you ass. Oh my god, when he was like, I can gently tap the fourth wall.
Yeah.
The proposal.
Yeah.
Good. So good.
What the? Is that what you think I do?
And he's going to sing and dance all of Music Man for us if we don't stop.
I
Without
love
warming up.
the moment they were bashing Deadpool's head onto the stereo and the music kept changing. And for a second, it was the Greatest Showman.
Oh, is that, did they play?
They did the oh, but it just did the oh, and then it cut to the next song.
Like we heard that. We all heard that.
It was so good.
It
The
felt
Goo Goo
like,
Dolls. They had a good job.
oh my
time with
god,
that.
the Goo Goo Dolls.
For a second or two?
Yeah, twice. For a second or two, twice. And it was always, it was the beginning of the chorus every time. And I told the world! And they're like, done.
Yeah. They really know how to use music in this movie and to like silly and funny effect.
And I guess Happy was running the Avengers Initiative.
My question is like the thing that doesn't make sense to me, and I haven't figured out how yet. And Matt, maybe you can help me headcanon, because you're so good at it. In that they're just like present day Earth 616, and he's interviewing with Happy.
They don't say present day. They say they just say sacred timeline.
Oh yeah, sacred timeline.
He's wearing Earth the watch. So this is before that happened. This is a flashback to before him and Vanessa broke up. So that's been going on a while. So this is, and he even says like, "Where's the big boss?" So apparently Tony is still around.
Tony's still alive.
He was just keeping the heart thing on the desk, like for safekeeping.
Right.
I thought for a second we were going to get someone else, like find out who was running Stark Enterprises now. Like I thought maybe like, well, no, I guess Peter Parker wouldn't make sense because nobody remembers who that is. But I thought someone else might come in that's running the show now. But like, no, after they showed that it was later, it was like a while later that after him and Vanessa break up, this is when he's still got the time thing. So he's still, when he's messing up his universe and rebuilding his universe, he goes over to the sacred timeline to become an Avenger and they reject him. So that was like before Endgame.
And then he got rid of the watch at some point later. He went back to his universe. Okay.
It could have been in the 5-year blip though. Like it's just before Endgame, you know that.
Oh yeah.
TV and Movie Guy points out in the chat that interview, like there was a date marker.
Great. Oh, I did see the March 14th. I didn't see the 2018.
March 14th, 2018 was that interview.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's right before Endgame or Infinity War? I mean, in our timeline. So. But I don't know how it fits up with the Avengers timeline. Because there's the 5-year jump and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the 5-year jump gets us to 2022, if I remember correctly.
Let's see. The events of the first Avengers happened in 2012. That's kind of like we know that was when that was.
And then Cap and them were on the run for 2 years after Civil War.
Yeah. And
and this says 2023. So yeah, I'm guessing that was before. So if it's 2018, that was probably right before the 5-year gap.
Okay.
Right.
So it was right before Infinity War, maybe. I would think. Yeah. So interesting.
I really loved Cassandra Nova. I just want to circle back and like talk. She was so good as a villain, and the only way to stop someone with her powers is to get 2 people who regenerate, because there really is no standing up to a Charles Xavier level power unless they can't really tear you apart, kind of like Jean couldn't with Logan in X3. You know what I mean?
We don't talk about X3. That didn't happen.
Yes, we do sometimes.
That didn't happen, remember?
Ian McKellen was in it, so we talk about it.
That didn't happen, remember? It got retconned out.
It doesn't matter.
She was really wonderful though. Like the actress killed it.
Slayed.
Just
Cassandra.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Emma, God, Corbin.
Emma Corrin.
Emma Corrin.
Damn it,
Sweet.
Samsonite, so close.
Samson.
Well, she was awesome, and she was a great foil for Deadpool because she was also sort of morally all over the place, had her own sort of like purposes, like for a second she gave them a reprieve because she really it seemed like she really felt for them and their connection to Charles and how he would have loved them. And the next second she's like, or I could end all universes. That's a very like Deadpool style of chaos and decision making. And so I really appreciated that was like kind of, it fit in well with the movie.
And she had the sling ring. I really overthought what that scene meant.
Oh,
it was just her with a goddamn sling ring.
I think we all did. We were like, "Oh my god, sling ring!"
You're gonna be in that game. You're gonna go somewhere. Is it Doctor Strange? What is it? No, they just had a sling ring that they stole from that Doctor Strange.
We had talked about like the sling ring. We've never seen the sling ring work for like interdimensional or like
travel.
not But yeah, multiverse travel. It's always been like dimensional within the universe.
Okay.
But did you notice that sling ring had infinity stones on it?
Is that what the green? I was like, that's a soup. That's some bling.
It's a souped up sling ring. It had at least 2. It was probably 2 or 3 or 4.
It looked like the
infinity
green
stones
one
on
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. And she said a magician. I'm assuming she killed the Doctor Strange and took it.
No, she killed Scott. She said a sleight of hand magician, and they were living in an Ant-Man.
Well, that
She was like,
okay,
this
that's
sleight
true.
of hand magician came through.
But Scott doesn't keep blinged out.
No.
Blinged out sling ring.
I
A
thought
bling
that
ring?
was...
A bling ring?
Oh, yeah, there you go,
Come
Jeff.
A
Coined it.
bling ring. Yeah,
I
there
didn't
you
hear
go.
her say anything about it. I thought the only magician I heard was sleight of hand magician.
She-
and I
no,
was
she
like,
said-
she
oh.
says
An
a sleight of
amateur.
hand is an
She said
amateur
magician.
And then she
Oh.
holds up the sling ring. An amateur
There you
magician showed up here, and she shows the sling ring. So I guess like whatever powers she has, she thinks are greater than Strange's powers.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
mean,
they
Strange.
kind of are.
Yeah, Strange doesn't like reach into your face.
Oh, that sucks that she has to do that.
The reaching in the face was terrifying and amazing. Like it was
Like, does
really,
that
really
hurt?
horrifying to look at.
Is it okay when you come back out? Like, ugh.
Yeah.
The whole time she was doing that, I was like, Ashley's gonna love this.
I did love
Ashley
it.
I
loves
thought that
this.
too.
I loved it. I just want to push my finger slowly into somebody's head and be like, give me all that information. You know?
Her fingers are just coming out of eyes and then noses and
cool. You
eyes.
just
and-
pull them around.
Ah.
Yeah.
She was like, and then the next one, bloop, and then the next one, bloop, bloop, and the next one, bloop. Like,
Body horror, baby. Let's get some Cronenberg in here.
And how about when she dragged him by his head
Love it.
down the stairs? Like,
Mhm.
She was a queen. She kind of slayed. She was
she
amazing.
kind of like,
I agree. I'm fully on board. I dug it a lot.
she ripped his skin off.
Yeah.
Just
Took your face
She-
off.
Yeah,
Yeah, she Nick
Nicolas
Caged
Caged him. Yeah. Oh man, so that was my one. I was the one disappointment I have. I
Yeah.
mean, again, I think that I don't think the story holds as together well as a movie. It feels more like just a travel through the multiverse or travel from scene to scene to kind of give these like everything felt like a big moment, which was cool, but it didn't feel like the story was as connected. Characters did, but the big exposition disappointment for me, the thing I missed out on that I was hoping for was more MCU connection. Like it was tightly connected
Right.
to Loki. I loved that, but like Deadpool's still in his universe. I
Yeah.
thought for sure this movie would end. He even wants to go to that universe.
not only, but also his universe, like his timeline is regenerating.
Right.
It's not like, let's move everybody over. It's just fine.
Do you think that the original story might have had something more to do with Kang and they had to like pivot at the end? Because Kang would have
Ooh.
fit so well into this to make everything interconnected.
Maybe.
So then
Maybe.
they kind of pivoted with her and then brought Loki stuff into it.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know. But yeah, I was disappointed with the idea that it's just like he still has his universe. I thought for sure we were going to get his universe was either going to end or he would need to leave it to maintain it or something like that. Like he was going to, because the goal for the movie was Logan needed a universe to save. So I thought he was going to end up in that universe with Deadpool's life and Deadpool's friends, you know,
Yeah.
and like people to care about. He ends up with X-Force. How much fun would that be? You know, like he's with a different X team. And then like Deadpool wanted to be in the MCU and the only thing holding him back was Vanessa and she was with someone else. And I thought maybe they would just like, that relationship would end and he'd be like, I've saved my universe. I care about these people, but I've got this big life to live, this mission to do. And he'd go to the MCU. Like I thought that made a lot of sense, but no. So I guess we're going to have to wait till another incursion happens. It seemed like the TVA wanted to probably use him again. It seemed like that's what B30, 34, 24.
Oh, I loved seeing her.
Me too.
Big role, girl. I was like, big
Yeah.
role. Not
Big
that
role.
she hasn't been in huge movies already, but it's
Yeah.
always great to be in. I hope this movie makes a bill. Come on,
B-15.
everybody. B15, that was it. I was like, I feel like it's a vitamin shot, but
That's B15.
B15.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really hope it makes a bill too. I have a bet with Jay Sisson on Multiverse News that it'll make $1 billion.
oh yeah.
He's doubtful.
Oh yeah, Ken's a little doubtful.
I would also say that I'm a bit doubtful on it making $1 billion. It'll do pretty well, Like I'm thinking, like I'm gonna put my bet out there at about 750.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's pretty likely, given that's about what the best rated R movie has ever done. So it's pretty likely. But
what did the first Logan? I feel like Logan and Deadpool both hit a bill.
Did they?
Oh, you know what?
And there's other R movies who've made a bill. I feel
only a few. I think the Joker made $1 billion.
Ugh.
I
want to complain about the 45 minutes of trailers before my movie. Like, I've seen them all. Can you guys chill out with my movie started at 6:20 and then the movie started at 7.
So your movie was supposed to start at 6:20.
Yeah,
yep.
And it was trailer. I was like, what are we doing right now?
Joker is the only movie that's ever made $1 billion. Only R-rated movie that's ever made $1 billion.
Okay, what was Logan?
It is 619,000. A million. 619 million. And then both Deadpools made in the high 700s.
Okay.
Million. Oppenheimer made 976 million. So close.
So close.
Oh,
damn,
Lord.
Chris Nolan is pissed.
Yeah.
I might adjust my guess to about 850 then.
Yeah, I think it will beat the previous two Deadpools because I think people are hungry for a big franchise film like this again.
In order to reach $1 billion, there's gotta be repeat viewings, and it's like
I need to go see this again.
It's kind of difficult for them to get repeat viewings on something that doesn't push the grand story forward.
Do not underestimate the power of humor. That movie was that's a very rewatchable movie.
I think
even more than the first two because you don't have to know the story to watch this one.
Sure, yeah. I absolutely expect people to go watch this once or twice, maybe a third time, but not like the way that we did with Endgame, where it was just over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah. Stop comparing things to Endgame, Jeff. Let it go.
I'm sorry.
Let it go.
They did it in the movie. They did it in this movie. They were like a steady decline.
They told you to let it go, and they said to put your nerd boner away.
But
we all felt it when they said that.
Endgame made $2.8 billion. It got real close to $3 billion. So
Endgame made $1 billion in opening weekend. It was crazy.
This is I don't think this is going to hit Endgame numbers, but I think it could make $1 billion for sure.
Yeah,
because it's got all the Deadpool stuff that made almost 800 million all the previous movies, and then this one has the extra of Wolverine and the MCU connection. I think it's got $1 billion in the bag.
Yeah, I'm with you.
My theater was packed, man. There were no parking spots. Whole theater.
I haven't been to a movie like that since Endgame. The entire theater was packed. Everyone was screaming and yelling and clapping. And I just chalked it up to being Thursdays, and that's why people weren't doing what they used to do before. Yeah. I would come, be on the cast, and I could go see it on a Friday or Saturday at 9:00, and everyone's freaking the fuck out. But this was the first time since I feel like that or Far From Home that people were really into it, and it made it fun. Yeah. It was awesome, and people were doing it respectfully.
Every time there was another character, when Blade showed up, theater went nuts.
Lots of
theater
clapping.
Was we were so happy when Wolverine pulls his mask on.
Oh, the mask!
And finally puts the mask on. Everybody in my theater was just
and he took his shirt off.
He didn't
was so good.
Take his shirt off. It took his shirt off for him.
His shirt took itself off.
It melted his shirt off. So funny. My audience cheered for that. It was
put your shirt back on, you whore, or whatever he said.
You preening whore. Oh, it's so good. So not to bring it down, because I think this movie's great, and I think it's going to do great and all that, but one of the things we'd seen written about it is this is going to bring the new life to the MCU that it's been missing, all that kind of stuff. I kind of think this movie didn't do anything for the MCU.
Yeah, it didn't really care about the MCU. It
brought us back to nostalgia, which is what we're trying to move away from, I feel like.
I agree. This was a wrap-up movie for the Fox universe, as shown by the the end credits thing where it shows all the Fox movies, and literally this is a tribute movie to the 20th Century Fox. Very little. Are there any MCU characters? I'm trying to think. Are there any MCU characters other than B-15? Hulk, but that was
in a different verse.
That was in a different verse Hulk, but there's no Sacred Timeline characters that I can think of.
Alioth?
Oh,
Sure.
yeah. He's not
Well, there
Sacred
was-
Timeline, but yes.
There was Happy.
Happy.
That's true.
They were
That's a
literally
big
Good call.
tie-in.
on the sacred timeline.
That's it. That's
In
the one character.
616, yeah.
Yeah, they specifically said.
And he knew who
sacred
Cap was because he
timeline.
was like, oh my God, Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah. not Captain America at all.
Oh, I really, really freaking love the fact that I loved the plot of a rogue TVA agent that's still basically loyal to the original mission.
Yeah.
Love
That
it.
was-
They didn't.
We
they
used
didn't
to
dig
just
too deep
prune
into it.
these.
Yeah.
We were saying how the TVA is not supposed to do the pruning anymore.
Exactly.
Why is stuff going?
That was one of the questions
getting
we had
pruned.
on the last episode. We talked about I really want tight connection with Loki, and the fact that they're pruning stuff seems not good to have connection with Loki, but it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. And it explained what the TVA is really easily without... So it's still a benevolent organization, even though in this movie they used it as the evil one. It was really well done. I loved it.
Well, it was a rogue cell within it, which makes absolutely perfect sense because
Totally.
the TVA is such a big, grand sweeping organization. There's bound to be some people in there that are like, I don't actually agree with that. I'm just going to keep doing my thing over here.
Yeah, they were told their religion all those years, all those millennia, however long they've been in there, was to prune all the other timelines to save the sacred timeline. And now,
hey y'all,
it's
Hey,
gone.
y'all,
I
all
love
this
that they
is
made it
right.
that tight.
Yeah, it was good.
So good. Okay, I feel like we could go on for hours and hours and hours, but I know we're going to talk about this movie a lot more over the coming weeks, and I want to get this posted. So I know people are going to be looking for it. So any final thoughts before we move? And I know we'll be back next week to talk about it more.
Amazing soundtrack. I love the shots.
Yes.
Amazing writing. The acting was phenomenal. Thank you for my swan song. Anyone who's first DVD was X-Men in 2000. This is for us. So I appreciate that you're still looking at us and making it rated R. And people who were worried that they're like, oh, is the timeline? I appreciate that it's not in there because so many more people would be complaining that they didn't get to participate in it. But continue to make these little pocket movies for us because we love them. I want to see the blood, the gore. I loved it. Thank you.
the bus full of blood.
Bless. Oh my God. In the Honda. In the Hyundai.
Honda was so good.
Odyssey. God.
the Honda Odyssey.
Oh my God. He's like, I'm going to fight you now.
I was wrong. This Honda Odyssey fucks hard.
Oh my God. Ashley, you said the line in jest, but him saying after Wolverine unloads all of that freaking trauma on him and telling him all the bad things about himself, and he's just he just stops and he's like, I'm gonna fight you now.
I love it so much because it was that was the only way he can handle with that emotional stuff. He can't talk back to Wolverine. He can only quip. So when it's time for him to express a serious emotion, it's only anger and it's only in that fight. It was great. Perfect.
Every time Hugh Jackman got in his low down crotch Wolverine attack pose.
With his arms way out.
I did it 5 or 6 times and I was like, yes.
I loved his berserker running across the ground on all fours stuff. That was so good.
Oh, when he dug his claws in and yes, so great.
Thank you everybody. Marvel, Feige, Sean Levy.
Speaking of the bus, did you guys notice the Stan Lee face, the ad on the side of the bus?
I didn't. No. I just saw a TV and movie guy over here.
It was a Stanley Steamer ad.
Oh,
the
carpet cleaning guys, but it was Stan Lee.
That's perfect.
Stanley Steamer, and it had his face, and I was like,
that is a very late 90s commercial. Thank you.
You mentioned Ash loving that scene, and we haven't brought up the fact that it's a oneer, and I love it so much.
Those have always been my favorite scenes. Daredevil.
Yep, some of my favorites.
Oh my God.
And just that side tracking felt very comic booky, that side tracking shot of them just having a full fight. And I've never, I can't think of another shot like that. It was almost like a side scrolling video game.
Yeah.
Seeing them jump and move. Yeah, it was great.
Guardians did it well, but I feel like this was just like Guardians 3 was so good with their slow
With the
scene. But I
hallway.
love that this looked like panels of a comic book because it
Yeah.
was just moving
Like,
sideways.
All of the wave of Deadpool's running from right to left, and then like just
and then the
limbs,
dog in the background.
just like limbs and
Oh,
body
man.
and like various parts and blood and gore coming from that side, and then like the two of them pushing the pod of them. It was
Yes.
it felt
It was
really
mostly Wolverine pushing them. It was like,
mostly
Yeah.
Wolverine.
yeah, it was like
felt
they
really
all
old
rushed,
boy.
and then it showed Wolverine just like pushing them back. It's so,
Yep.
well, honestly, I could sometimes not figure out where our Deadpool was, like
Of
in the
course,
mix.
yeah.
It's
Yep.
gonna take me a couple watches, you know.
But like
So
while
good.
Wolverine was pushing that mass of bodies, Wade was like dancing around him, like just shooting random people.
It was fabulous.
It's great.
Fabulous.
I'm definitely gonna have to check it out again in theaters. My niece is begging me to take her, and I'm like, is she old enough for this movie? Probably not.
How old is she?
Probably not. She's 13.
Yes.
And she saw the first two Deadpools before I was her
Think
caregiver.
about what we used to watch
So-
at 13. You're talking
Yeah,
Terminator
no, I get it.
2.
And the thing about this movie, it's violent, and most of the really
It's
like,
a little CG violent, though. I will say that.
yeah. There's definitely a
CG
few moments that
blood.
were a little too CG. When they jumped
Yeah.
out of the bus, I thought it was a terrible
Yeah.
CG moment.
And then he didn't stick the landing.
Yeah, which was really funny. That whole thing, and all they're gonna remember is that I didn't stick the landing.
I love it. You remembered.
Oh, that looked like a comic book cover shot.
It did. It did.
Like Wolverine jumping out and Deadpool like right behind him with the swords. I was
Yeah.
like, that's a comic book cover.
Oh, when he had the swords through him and he was like, you need to pull yourself together. Everybody's been waiting for this for years.
You look ridiculous. People have been waiting for this fight for a decade.
Yeah, I can be forgiving on that because it is a very cool shot and it's very intended to be a
Baby
comic
knife?
booky shot, but it is super bad CGI. Oh, I loved Baby Knife.
This is Baby Knife. She's gonna fuck you in the face.
Yeah.
Oh, so funny. And then throughout the whole movie, he just kept being Baby Knife.
Baby Knife.
So good.
That was so great.
All right, guys. Well,
Fun.
I think we're going to bring it to a close there for our instant reaction. But we are the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, and we do this all like 2 days a week. We drop episodes, and we talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all the connected properties and things that relate to them in the news and all that stuff. So please check that out, and check out our other podcasts on the Stranded Panda Network. We've got a lot of things. I want to throw out multiverse news. We started it this year, so if you're coming back after a long absence of here at the MCU cast, I've got a show called Multiverse News now where we cover all the news from all the universes. And anybody else want to throw anything out to let the people know about? I know we will have probably more listeners here than we normally have.
If you're in Nahara, you can check out Bill and Ashley's Terror Theater on all the things. And then go ahead, Jeff, plug everything else.
Oh no, I wasn't plugging anything else other than this show. We are currently there's currently nominations on the podcast awards. So podcastawards.com.
Oh.
Make sure to nominate the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast for Best TV and Film. And, whenever the nominations end, we'll beg you for voting if you got selected to vote.
Yeah, go sign up. They'll send you an email to let you know when voting starts.
Yep.
Sweet, yeah.
So you just got to go to podcastawards.com and make sure to nominate us so that we can be in the running to be voted for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely check out our other shows, Bill and Ashley's Terror Theater, as she mentioned. Great show with lots of insights on great horror movies. That's awesome. We also have Always Watching now going on our network, which is our...
we just covered the entirety of The Acolyte.
Yep, we're
the
in
Acolyte,
the tail end of House of the Dragon, which is going great. And
The
did you
Boys.
guys? We just finished The Boys.
Just other geeky TV shows that we don't... It used to be called Pandavision if you haven't been here in a while, but we just changed the name recently to Always Watching. So find us anywhere you get...
We're always watching.
That's right. We'll be watching.
And we have a show called Bingers where we cover a movie series, and we have Twisters coming out.
Bingers Assemble.
Bingers Assemble. That's our other show. So anyway, lots of shows. StrandedPanda.com has a list. If you like what we do here, please go check those shows out. And I'm just pumped because the MCU, while I don't think this did much for the MCU, it definitely got me excited for the MCU.
It felt like home.
Enjoy my
it did.
Peter.
Enjoy my Peter. The trailer for Captain America 4 was on my theater. I'm sure it was for everybody. And it was so good to see that in theaters and just be like getting pumped for the next thing, the next connected thing.
Cinematic part. Like, because it's like Agatha and then that which we will be covering as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know it.
When the trailer came on, I did that thing where, like, you know how you kind of like say the lines along with the movie? I was doing that with the trailer because I've watched the trailer so many times.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like when Isaiah stood up, I was like, Isaiah! No!
Like, I know him.
Don't do it! All right. Well, we'll be back on. If you want to send in feedback, mcucast@gmail.com. We'll be doing a feedback episode about this movie on Monday. It'll drop Tuesday. So get us that feedback in, and we'll do that. Peace.
Until next time, true believers.
Holy shit, girl, you crazy.
Thank you for joining us for the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. Available everywhere you get podcasts, and now a video version streaming live on twitch.tv/strandedpandatv and available at youtube.com/strandedpanda. And if you'd like to learn more about all of our other podcasts, geeky projects, and ways to support the network, visit strandedpanda.com.